Welcome back to Killer Fun, where we explore the intersection of crime and entertainment every other week. I'm Christy, and Jackie and I are taking a little hiatus here over the summer because, summer seems like it should be easygoing and relaxing. And then we realize that we're moms, and while it feels like it should be less busy, it's just busy in a different way. So we're going to take a little bit of a break so that we can not have to be concerned with doing our content upright. But that does not mean that I do not have a brand new, fresh episode for you. So every episode, I keep things back, little flubs that we make, tangent conversations that happen, whole segments of the show that are interesting and great and that we want to share with you, but there just isn't time in the main episode. So these are always super fun. So I hope that you'll take a listen. Today, I have outtakes from The Menu, You, and Gunther's Millions. So The Menu, if you remember, was a movie about a homicidal chef. And I have some information on food that Jackie eats, that Savoir Mag is real. Can you go to South Africa if you have a DUI in the US? Can you make yeast from apples? What the heck is a bergamot? And
last night, let me talk about my meal last night.
Okay. Dude, tell us.
All right. So it's kind of at the end of the grocery week, right? So we're at the scraps, right? Okay. I had a can of lima beans.
Okay.
All right. And then I had some hot chow chow. Do you know how chow chow? What do you know what chow chow is? Like, not the dog. Okay. Chow chow is like a southern relish.
Okay.
Kind of thing. And this is hot chow chow, so it's spicy.
Okay.
And you put it on there on the lima beans and then ketchup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Ketchup on your lima beans is really good, but also is chow chow. And you know what? You put all of that together, especially with hot chow chow. That was delicious.
Oh.
So
Never had chow chow.
That is some different kind of foodie.
Sure. Well, because, most foodies, no cans.
No cans.
Right.
Probably definitely not ketchup out of a bottle.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe if it was homemade ketchup.
Yeah, but not like squeezed.
Yeah.
I don't even think they would ever put those ingredients together, even if it was like...
Probably not.
Probably not.
But it kind of sounds almost like there's a French dish with white beans and stuff in it.
Ooh.
I can't... Cassoulet, maybe? Like cassoulet.
Okay.
It's not, doesn't sound completely dissimilar to that.
Because they use, it's the cannellini beans?
Yeah, and it might have tomatoes in it depending on the recipe that you...
Yeah.
So it's like poor man's cassoulet.
There you go. I like that. Yeah. I don't know if I think, well... So, it's a matter of what your expectations is. Sorry. Let me rephrase that because grammar.
I mean, if you think about the woman who stabs Slowick in the thigh because he made sexual advantages. He made sexual advancements. Yes.
Advancements, yeah.
He made sexual advances that she... All right, so Savoir is a real magazine.
Oh, yeah. Right. Okay.
Lillian Bloom is not
a real person.
Not a real critic that works there. But in 2021, Savoir became a digital-first brand. They used to put out quarterly magazines in 2021. Now they only put out special editions that end up on newsstands, but they have their website has been revamped in order to be, which I'm like, well, that just makes sense.
It does make sense, but I have to admit, I think I miss magazines.
Sure.
I do. I miss magazines. Good magazines.
When Entertainment Weekly went from being weekly to monthly, I was so sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I let my subscription lapse.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was just like, I looked forward to, I'd get it every week in the mail, and I'd have like a bath night where I'd sit in the bath and I'd read through my Entertainment Weekly, and I was really sad when it stopped coming every week.
Yeah. It's just true. I mean, there are some websites that have really revamped their magazine so that the format feels good digitally. But most, the format just kind of falls flat for me.
Yeah. That's fair. And then the movie star is trying to convince his assistant not to take another job somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Right. Okay.
He really wants her to remain his assistant as he embarks on a travel food show, which it's very poorly planned. He doesn't really know what he's doing. He just wants somebody else to pay for him to travel around and eat.
I get that.
I mean, I get it too, but like if you're going to pretend you're a foodie, you have to use the right words.
Yeah, you have to get there.
You at least have to pretend by knowing the vocabulary.
Yeah.
Which he did not.
Nope.
And he says he wants to go to South Africa, and the assistant interjects, I don't think you can go to South Africa if you have a DUI.
Oh, I didn't even catch that, really. I mean, I remember the conversation.
He said...
But why? Yeah, why would that matter? I mean, I guess... You mean like an open warrant?
No.
Like you just can't go?
You just...
If you've had a DUI.
Right. That's what she was saying.
Okay, all right.
I think that you can't do that. So...
Okay, so let me know.
I was like, can you go to South Africa?
No idea.
So... Evidently, there are quite a few countries that have some very strict regulations and rules when it comes to those particular kinds of arrests.
Oh, that's weird. That's weird.
So, South Africa, if you have a misdemeanor DUI, where like you're caught but you didn't hurt anybody, or it's not you didn't serve jail time,
right? Okay,
or the fines were lower, then it's not a problem. But if you have a felony DUI, you are expected to voluntarily disclose that at the border. And if you don't, it's called deception by silence.
Wow.
So if you don't disclose that you've had this on your record within, it's usually a time frame, then, and they find out, they can kick you out immediately.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And this is according to Matador Network. So, but there are other countries that I didn't realize that if you have a DUI could cause you a problem while you're traveling from the U.S.
Okay.
So, Mexico.
Really? I mean, we laugh because we're so close to Mexico that feels like.
Well, and it seems like that's where people go
to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the Americans go there. Do that.
Right. Which is exactly
probably what they're exactly trying to avoid.
Exactly. If it's been 10 years, if it hasn't been at least 10 years since your conviction and they find out about it, they will refuse you entry into Mexico.
Well, I get that. I do.
Now, it all depends on the level of scrutiny that you're going through.
Right.
So if you're just walking over the border, there's not going to be a lot of scrutiny.
Right, but if you're driving...
Yeah, or even if you're driving, maybe not, depending on how far you're going into Mexico, because that's a question that they ask. You're like, no, I'm just going into...
whatever.
Nuevo Laredo.
Yeah.
And, whatever.
Right.
So Mexico. Okay. Also, Canada.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So you're not supposed to go to Canada if you've had a DUI conviction in 5 years.
Okay.
If they find out, they will kick you out.
Hard pass. Okay.
Yeah, hard pass. If it's been 5 years and you have a clear history, you can pay a $200 fine, and they will let you into Canada.
Interesting.
Or you can wait 10 years after your conviction, and then you're considered rehabilitated by time.
Okay.
So Mexico and Canada, not supposed to go there
with a DUI.
With a DUI.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then there are other places. Iran makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the United Arab Emirates makes sense. They're Muslim majority countries.
Right.
They generally frown upon alcohol consumption of any kind. In China, Japan, and Malaysia, even misdemeanor charges can be a problem. And it's much, much worse if you don't disclose them.
Right. So
You need to disclose them, because if you don't reveal it, don't disclose it, and they find out, they will kick you out immediately.
Okay.
If you disclose it, you can apply for a travel waiver.
Gotcha.
So, and they may put limits on, you're not allowed to rent a car while you're here.
Right.
Things like that.
And
But
that makes sense.
I'm thinking you don't want to end up in a Chinese prison.
No. Yeah. No, you do not.
Yeah. But I had no idea.
I really just didn't know.
No idea. So Lillian tells her dining companion that she makes her own yeast from apples. Can be done.
Okay, I thought this was true because I have heard other people talk about their yeast that they have.
Right.
And that they use that over, and that's like, that's their thing, you know? And so I'm like, okay, I believe it.
It's pretty simple. It's water and honey in a plastic bottle.
Okay.
They specify that it needs to be a plastic bottle. You shake that up, and then you peel and core an apple and cut it into little pieces, and you put it in this solution, and you let it sit on your counter.
Okay.
You have to open it a couple times a day, and because it's going to build up some pressure,
some gases.
right? Which I think is why you put it in the plastic bottle.
Oh,
is so that if it's less likely to shatter.
okay.
And then when it starts to bubble and the fruit starts to float, you know that your yeast is ready. It takes about 5 days.
Okay.
But that yeast is only good for 7 days. You strain it.
Okay.
You strain the liquid into a glass jar and put it in your refrigerator, and it'll be good for about 7 days.
Okay. So it's not a type of yeast that you can just keep going with for like a long time.
You could. There's ways to refresh it
and
but,
redo it.
But
Because like I know that like certain yeast people like have, and it's like that's the yeast. That's the But it's always growing the new yeast, and I don't know.
yeah, it's a process.
Yeah.
It's and you basically just use the water, this yeast water, as you would any other yeast in your recipe, but you have to know that it's going to take longer to rise.
Okay.
Than your traditional yeast that you reawaken from its slumber from the grocery store with a little warm water.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Tyler is absolutely insufferable when he identifies bergamot in the tea.
That was so funny.
It was hilarious. It was really funny. Is that bergamot I taste? And like, yes. This is the question that you're asking at this point, because things have been revealed.
Yeah, but he knew.
And he already knew.
He knew it was coming.
He knew what was coming. And yet he still broke the rules and took pictures.
Yeah, he did.
That he was literally never going to go back and look at again.
I know. I mean, he couldn't help himself.
He couldn't help
He's
himself.
just a psycho.
Yeah. Yeah. But you probably know the bergamot flavor because it is the flavor in Earl Grey tea.
Yeah. It's the most common tea.
It's a black tea and dried bergamot, which is a citrus fruit, but you can't eat it fresh. It's too sour. It's not good, but it makes a nice tea.
Earl Grey.
Yeah. Up next, outtakes from the season premiere of You on Netflix. Man, we have flubs. Those are always fun. Jackie finally started Game of Thrones. Jackie had a question about spoilers. We learned some interesting facts about the information that closed captioning can share with you. Jackie tells us about some neighbors of hers. What is a party monster? And how dangerous is absinthe really? Welcome back to Killer Fun, where we explore the intersection of crime and entertainment every other week. Today, nope, I gotta say who we are first. Let me start that all the way over.
Okay. Okay, but I did finally start Game of Thrones.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I did finally.
Okay.
It's been long enough. I've forgotten enough.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I can go down this, and it's good. It's really good.
It is good, right?
It is good. And then There's some things I don't think holds up well that probably seemed
Sure.
amazing when it first came out.
Okay.
And I kind of was like, okay,
Yeah.
a little
Right.
trying too hard, but okay.
Yeah. Wow. And it was like the beginning of the golden age of television, really.
Really?
You know, we have this like over the past 10, 12 years, we've had this golden age of television where television has really been elevated with really excellent scripts and fantastic
Yes.
cinematography. And we kind of see that even in you. It
Oh
says
my
this
gosh,
is
the
not
locations are gorgeous in this show.
we'll talk about that a little bit.
I can't wait.
A little bit. But it's lush and beautiful and a lot of care has been taken. And so you end up with shorter seasons. So
Right.
whereas you used to get 20, 24, up to 30 episodes of a show in a given season,
Yeah.
now typically it's 8, 10, 12.
Yeah.
Right?
It's much shorter.
It's much shorter, but it's done so well. You know, the story is told really well. It's not dragging out. You have so much attention to cinematography and how things look.
Yes.
You know, it tends to be, it's an interesting dichotomy.
It's just a higher production value.
It
And
is.
higher production value just takes more money, more time. So the product's going to be a little less
lengthy.
lengthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Okay, I have a spoiler alert question before we go on.
Okay.
So that you can cut this out
Okay.
if it's wrong. Do we know that he doesn't kill Marianne? Or, yeah. In this episode or not?
right. I don't know when you find out when he doesn't kill her.
I may not
Right.
want to spoil certain things.
I'll cut this out, but we don't know that in the first
It's
episode.
the second episode that we know that.
I think the second episode.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Clear.
Yeah, but you know what closed captioning also does? It tells you who sings the songs that they have in the background.
It does?
Yeah, most of the time, like if there's a song playing in the
Yeah.
background, it'll say what the song is and who the artist is. And whenever there's not dialogue happening, you'll get lyrics to the song.
Oh, that's really funny. I didn't
is
realize
kinda
that.
awesome.
Okay.
But-
Because they're so cute. But they're so feral, they can't meow.
Oh, wow.
They can scream and make cat noises, but it's the most god-awful tone you've ever heard.
Right.
Because they haven't developed a voice.
Right.
So instead of screaming in some sort of screaming meow, they literally are screeching. Right? It's awful. But yeah, they will not let me come near them because they know I'm like, here, kitty, please,
you
let
want
me love you.
you want them too much.
Yeah, they know it.
I remember reading a study about that the only reason that cats meow the way they do in homes is because
They have developed this to communicate with humans.
to manipulate us.
That's
Really.
that's the discussion section of the study. The
yes.
other section is it's just
Yeah, it's how they react
how
in
they
the community.
communicate because they actually have created a way to communicate with humans that sounds like they're babies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so in that way, yeah, they've manipulated us. But they also, I mean, my cat talks. He has whole conversations. So I feel like he doesn't just manipulate. He enjoys every bit of that. you know?
Sure.
He's also a rooster.
Right.
I mean, he's
he'll
a
wake
late
you up
rooster.
Right.
A little bit. Sometimes a little early. His clock is off. But when he's determined that it's dawn, he starts just howling in the house and walking over everybody. It's time to get up. Like, he's very annoyed after daybreak when nobody's awake. Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I no longer have cats.
I love it
I
so
know.
much.
I know.
But you know what? I love it so much. Guess who he doesn't walk on?
Yeah, exactly.
Me.
Exactly. Because you want it too badly.
Yeah.
All right. So Joe talks about his neighbor, his coworker, and his acquaintance, Malcolm. And Joe does not like him. But Malcolm is too rich to make an enemy of.
Yeah.
Basically, our protagonist describes Malcolm as a party monster.
Yeah.
And this is a little weird, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay. Why? Why is this
Because I
not?
think that it's a reference to a 2003 movie called Party Monster.
Oh.
It's based on a true story. It's basically club people from the 90s behaving badly.
Okay.
And it was the first movie that Macaulay Culkin did after like Richie Rich. So that was like a very, he went from being very much a child actor and doing these like child friendly movies to this like gritty movie that came out in 2003, and he was like terrible. And Roger Ebert said, "I'm not sure what the movie accomplishes except to portray an extreme and impenetrable personality type, which is drugs and alcohol and making poor decisions under the influence of those things, and also not caring, maybe some psychopathy."
Okay.
Also, but what's weird about it is not that he calls him a party monster, which I believe is a reference to this movie, but that he calls him a party monster when it's based on a book called Disco Bloodbath. He doesn't refer to the book, he refers to the movie, and Joe's a reader. So I thought it was weird that he would refer to him as this party monster, this guy who has like no empathy and no care.
Instead of the book that inspired the movie.
Right. So I thought it was a little interesting.
Okay, wait. I got to process this. I have so many questions. But first, also, Macaulay Culkin, I saw him in a great movie called The Good Son. It was a horrific film, not because it was a horrific film. Wait. Rewind. It was not a horrific film. It was a horror film that made you feel horrific because it was like the whole time.
So awful.
He was so good in that movie.
He's a really good actor.
Well directed. Macaulay Culkin is awesome.
He is awesome.
I don't know who the hell directed Party Monster, but I'm just kidding. I'm making fun a little.
Yeah.
Ish.
I just thought it was interesting.
Now that I have to sit with that. That's interesting. Why does he skip the opportunity?
Yeah, to name check a book.
Yes.
It's interesting. Maybe.
Unless he sees these individuals as so shallow that when talking about them, he refers to the shallow version of the story and not the deep version.
Insightful. All right, so an already drunk Joe at Sundry House is served absinthe.
Oh, Lord.
So what is even is this drink?
I had to Google this. I jumped the gun on this.
Okay.
I had to Google it. I found out it's something I should never have.
Oh, see, and I almost bought a bottle today.
I don't know. I feel like I would want to taste it, but but there was like legit like health warnings for this stuff.
Okay, so most of it is erroneous. So it was banned in the U.S. from 1912 until 2007 because the belief was that it instigated hallucinations. And that is incorrect.
Okay, so I didn't read that.
Just alcohol.
Okay, I just read that it was abnormally strong for the type of drink, the type of alcohol it is, and so people have a tendency to get alcohol poisoning.
Okay,
and get blackout drunk in ways they wouldn't if they were drinking like other things.
Sure. Well, and it has kind of a anise, black licorice sort of flavor. So if that's appealing to you, which doesn't seem appealing to you, but is appealing to me. Oh. Well, see, this is why I'm glad I didn't go and get a bottle.
I mean, I'd do it
because
I taste
expensive.
it. It is expensive.
It is expensive,
and it tastes like that. What is the point of this?
Okay, well, I think if you get a cheap bottle under $20, they use artificial coloring and flavor. It is green.
It's green in the show.
Green, yes, and it's green.
Okay,
for real.
Okay,
yeah. But it is a high concentration. So if you get a cheap bottle, it's not going to be as good. Like $40 to $60 is where you would have a pretty decent bottle that would be good to drink and good to try. They can get much more expensive than that. I looked on the local website of a liquor store, and it was like $130 a bottle.
Oh my gosh.
For the best variety, the most top shelf stuff.
I mean, because black licorice, I don't know how much of the anise is the black licorice, but I don't like black licorice.
Well, see, it all depends because like I've had anise cookies before they were like a Italian cookie that a neighbor made once, and they were delightful. They had that kind of licorice flavor almost, but it was mild and just much more delicate than like the candy.
Okay.
So I think it's probably got a much more pleasant.
Okay.
If it tastes like NyQuil, I would be in some big trouble. So
See, okay.
maybe I shouldn't get it.
I don't know that I've ever really had plain NyQuil. I think I've already had the cherry.
Oh, no.
I don't think I've ever had.
Oh, the other stuff.
But when I'm sick, it don't matter.
Right,
Whatever.
exactly.
That going to help? Fantastic. In
yeah.
that case, the absinthe might help too.
It might.
Hey, hot toddies are shown to reduce and shorten the symptoms of colds better than anything else.
Excellent.
Yep.
Excellent. I like that. That's the kind of studies I can get behind. Yes, study that. Tell me how I can have a little beverage when I'm not feeling well. All of the sources that we use to inform our discussion here on Killer Fun Podcast can be found on our social media. Join us on Facebook at Killer Fun Podcast, exploring the intersection of crime and entertainment. You can find us on Twitter at Killer Fun Pod, or you can send us an email at killerfunpodcast@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to share a link to whatever information you're looking for. We love to hear from you. You might learn a little something too. And the final section that I have for you today is about Gunther's millions. Or I'm sorry, Gunther's millions. Nobody ever says that, right? Poor dog. He doesn't care. It was all a scam anyway. We talk about Cocaine Bear because this was just before Cocaine Bear came out or right as it came out. And going to rated R movies if you are a person who's under 18. We talk about couples who are married and then divorced and then married again, and some new types of marriage and our initial thoughts on those. Crass humor from the 90s, a little dog surprise, and our obsession with beauty.
Oh my, Gunther.
Gunther. Not Gunther. Though so many people said Gunther.
Yeah, because he just gave up on trying to pronounce it right.
Right.
Wait, what's the freaking name of it? It's the
Gunther's Millions.
Gunther's Millions.
What is that thing that we're talking about?
Well, it's like I know it, but I call it the Millionaire Dog.
Well, right.
It's not like
Right. So how much of it have you watched? Have you watched all
just
of it?
the 2 episodes.
Oh, just the 2.
Because
okay.
it took me because of
Right.
interruptions.
Yeah.
It took me all
a
day.
while. Okay.
Like all day.
Okay.
Like I started it in the morning and then I had to go pick up kids from school
Okay.
because I kept getting interrupted.
Okay.
But those 2
that's fine.
episodes, wow.
Yeah. Okay. Well, So there's things you don't know that I won't tell you. Okay.
It's okay. I mean, you can spoil what you want to for me, but
Okay.
for
Yeah,
others.
I'll try not to.
Okay.
I'll try not to.
All right.
All right. I can't believe he went to go see Cocaine Bear.
He did. He said, James is a coworker really wanted to go see it, and he's not going to get to go with anyone else in his family.
Okay.
So basically, Ken and him went right after that PMT test.
Oh, okay.
So, but he said, I promise I'll go with the family if they want to go.
Did he like it?
He wouldn't say much about it.
Oh,
You know how he does.
Okay. Oh, yeah, because he doesn't want to talk about it. Mm-hmm. That's actually good, because now he's seen it, and then when you're ready to talk about it right after the movie,
Yeah, he'll be ready.
He'll be ready.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Okay. There we go. All right. Well, maybe he doesn't need to go see it again. Maybe just
he
you and I
doesn't.
need to go see it.
I think that's
Actually, though, I
great.
think my children might kill me because they both want to see it too. My youngest is like, I can't get in unless you're there. I mean, Kate could take me, but I mean, really.
Oh, no, I don't think he can. I don't think your oldest can. You have to be over 21 now
Oh, really?
to get someone in.
To get someone else
You can
in?
get in if you're 18 and up, but to get somebody else in, it has to be a parent, guardian, or it's 21 and up. That's what I read recently, and I was like, you mean to say if I have a kid who is 18 or 19, they can't get their 17-year-old kid in? Or 16-year-old, little brother in?
Uh-huh.
What?
Do you know how many friends I had who would go on a date with somebody just specifically because he was 18 and they could see the rated R movie.
That used to be the thing, right?
I wouldn't really go on a date with him, but he promised he would take me to see this rated R movie that my parents don't really want me to see. Maybe that's why.
Maybe that's why. But I'm like,
but it's been a long time since I've been in a position where I couldn't just see any movie that I wanted. So
truthfully, I'm sorry. Post YouTube, come on, rating system. You're not keeping up with the times.
I mean, it's fine to have guidelines, but
like rules like that, maybe a little anachronistic.
Yeah,
maybe not.
This arms and technology. Don't wake. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's not coming out right. I haven't even had anything to drink. Yeah, there's a reason why I know several couples who got divorced and then got remarried because they were mad at each other and went mad enough to go all the way through the divorce, and then they just couldn't quit each other.
Yeah, so they decided we might as well combine finances. It's cheaper.
I mean, it would have been cheaper not getting divorced in the first place.
In the first place, gosh, that is expensive.
Yeah, no joke.
You know that there are other countries that have like new types of marriages.
Oh,
where you get married for a certain commitment time. Like you can get married for 5 years.
Oh, I don't like that.
And then it
it's
dissolves.
a good idea.
You can just re-up it, but the contract dissolves. So therefore, everybody knows they have a time they can leave without having to pay all the money for a divorce, for the legal part of the divorce.
That's interesting.
It is interesting.
As a woman, I don't like it.
I mean, it's a little scary. You better be financially on your own. You better be good on your own. But it forces you to think about that before you get into the marriage. But it also saves you a heck ton of money if you get into it and then it just falls apart and you're like, well, whoops.
Wow.
Like, it's been a good ride.
Okay.
Higher,
okay.
It's an interesting experiment, anyways.
Yeah. Sorry, my initial knee-jerk reaction is,
what?
This is bad for women.
Bad for women. Yeah. It's not good. If you're a woman in that kind of place and you're going to do something like that, there was one particular, and you'll have to comment and remind me of where, because I'd have to go Google it right now to remember. But they started off with this experiment.
Wow.
And, yeah. It's just interesting.
Huh.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie in so long. I bet it does not hold up well.
Oh, I don't know, because those movies are stupid funny.
They are.
And I something about them. Okay, I also wanted to go and watch Something About Mary. Oh. I wonder if it holds up.
Gosh, I remember thinking it was so funny.
It was funny.
Oh, Jill.
Oh my God. It's so funny.
See, and my kids just don't appreciate that kind of crass sexual humor. They're very much of a different generation. Yeah. So where I might find it funny, my kids find it.
I think my kids would think it's hysterical.
Oh,
but
really?
they're like, two apples that didn't fall off the tree when it comes to that kind of humor.
This is true.
But Tropic Thunder is still a big deal in my house.
Yeah.
But that movie is still really funny.
Okay. All right. We'll see. I don't know. My husband almost brought a dog home yesterday.
Oh my goodness.
Or no, 2 days ago.
Oh.
He almost brought a dog home, and I told him it would have been fine if he did, but I'm kind of glad he didn't. So Maurizio is obsessed with beauty.
I mean,
the 13 Commandments show this to us. The whole Burgundians having a casting director.
Yeah, it's very specific.
Right. Yeah. So, but we're all kind of obsessed with beauty.
Yeah, we are. Let's just be honest.
IdeaPod had a blog post from Tina Fey, not the Tina Fey. I had to say Tina Fey, Fey, about why we might view beauty in this way, why we're so obsessed with it. And that she starts it out with, beauty standards have changed over centuries, but the importance of beauty never seems to fade away.
It's true.
So the first reason. We're raised that way.
That's true.
Yeah, we see people who are beautiful. People are complimented on their beauty.
Yeah.
People are rarely commented on their creativity and their intelligence, especially in a superficial context. When you first meet somebody, oh, your hair is gorgeous.
Right.
Or, oh my gosh, look at you, and you've lost weight, or whatever. You've gotten so tall.
See.
Right.
So
yes.
In some ways, it's like as it's superficial, but it's also first level. Like, oh, hi, I love what you've done with your place. I like your towels.
Right.
I like your couch. Did
Yeah.
you get it from IKEA?
Right.
These things.
Yeah, exactly. But it is superficial.
It is.
But it is it's armor if you're beautiful, kind of. You see cartoons. Oh, most of the time the ugly character is not seen in a positive context.
Yeah, no, they're usually the villain.
They're usually the villain. So we kind of...
Or dumb.
And
then we have compassion for their dumbness. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, but we don't have we kind of internalize subconsciously the idea that to be happy, you need to be beautiful. Ding, ding, ding for Mauricio, I think.
Yeah.
Even though he was not beautiful.
But that's kind of that projection.
Yeah. He's like the guy, not American Eagle, the clothing brand.
Hollister?
No. Oh, Hollister was one. Was it Hollister? I don't know. I'm going to edit that part out. There was a clothing brand where they were like, don't apply unless you're gorgeous.
Oh, that's Hollister.
Or was it Hollister?
Oh, it was Hollister.
Okay.
They would not have any models that weren't perfectly beautiful and a size 0.
Yeah. And they were almost all white. And there was a whole big thing.
Yeah, it was a whole big thing.
Yeah. The school years are difficult.
Oh,
yeah,
right? God, have mercy.
So you see how beautiful people get invitations to parties and gifts, and then you see the people who don't fit that imagery being bullied or not invited, or they have trouble in some way, and then we start making extraordinary efforts to fit a mold or to find ourselves. And third, the beauty industry is enormous.
Yeah, it is.
If you didn't feel bad about yourself, they wouldn't make money.
Yeah, it's true.
To that effect, fourth, we are bombarded with subtle messages. We see in advertisements beautiful people all the time. These are things that you kind of steep into that you don't even realize that you're comparing yourself to, when really, nobody really compares to the models most of the time. So
no, for sure not.
Right.
And it is hard. I would consider myself high in vanity.
Okay.
I definitely deal with it.
Oh.
Yeah, I deal with vanity a lot. So I resonate with that.
Okay.
I'm always, because I'm not vain towards anybody else.
Just yourself.
Just me.
Oh.
I'm super open to all sorts of expressions and think so many different things are so beautiful. And when it comes to me, I have this very particular thing that I want to be, right? And I think that's the truth for a lot of us, is that I don't think we're as judgy towards other people as it might seem. We're just so judgy towards ourselves that it drives billion-dollar industries, There
right? You go. Well, and the standards are too high.
They're too high. Yeah, because between AI, between filters, between even just the problems of okay, maybe they really are that skinny. There's a reason.
Right.
That's okay. They can be them. Models who are uber skinny on the runway can model all sorts of different clothing. It makes it so that they are perfect to serve in that capacity. Great. That's not because they're the standard. It's because the clothes are supposed to shine that way, and they are perfect to dress upon. It's not that they're also not beautiful and they're only wearing their own stuff, but I'm just saying that we kind of conflate it.
Right. And we have influencers who look a certain way and behave a certain way, and a lot of that is artificial.
Yeah.
And so we have a standard of what we should be that's not really attainable for most people.
Well, because and it's
nor should it be. It'd be boring.
Nor should be. I mean, I think when you think about okay, the size 0 or size 2 model on a runway, and then they're modeling these clothes, and they're beautiful just the way they are. You know, I don't want them to be skinny because they're starving themselves or have eating disorders. But if they're naturally that thin and tall, they're the perfect person to put on the runway and show us all these amazing different styles you could do.
Right.
But the problem is the fast fashion industry then does this and it pushes it out all in that size. All of the lower brands, I say the lower brands, but I mean like the more economical brands will repeat those kind of styles, but they will repeat them only as it pertains to how it fit on somebody who is zero.
Yeah.
Whereas
and there's like
designer brands don't necessarily do that.
Right.
You know, I don't know. It's just really hard.
Yeah.
It just sucks.
Beauty is hypnotic. We're all entranced by beautiful people. So,
Well, we are.
you know, we should not discount the importance of inner beauty, because when you feel good about yourself, there is sort of a magnetic radiance that you have.
Yeah.
So while you're thinking about beautiful, also work on your internal self. And if you're joyful and happy and can share a smile with a stranger, then that goes a long way into how they perceive you.
Yeah, it'll come through.
Right. It does. And people forget that, I think.
We forget it, except that, like, you know, when guys, like, so me, I'm a woman, I'm hetero, like, but like there were guys who had just obnoxious amount of confidence, and I don't know, it made them hot. Right? Like, confidence is kind of hot. You know?
Sure.
Right.
Even if they weren't really all that good looking.
I mean, objectively, if I were to compare it to like beauty standards, but it didn't even matter. I never even thought to do that because they were just so like
magnetic.
Yeah. Like you said.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. That is all the outtakes that I have for you. I hope that you enjoyed them. You know what? It's super fun to listen with a friend. So make sure you tell a friend. Come back. I have more brand new, fresh content for you. It's going to be great. We don't ever leave you hanging when it comes to us taking a break. There's something here for you, and we're happy to provide it. You know, again, tell a friend, rate and review, especially if you can give us a good review. We'd really love that. And until next time, be safe, be kind, and wash your hands.
Da, da, da.